Well, I'm actually only about 25 feet from where I was, but this person right here is typical garden. I guess they must have planted these grapevines like, 20 something years ago, whenever. They're starting to get pretty high. They're about 6-7 feet high. You come over there and look at their plot, it doesn't even look like they even gardened at all. I mean, not really growing any vegetables or anything. And here they got a nice bunch of wiregrass, a little bit of flowers, nothing but junk in the corner there. Looks like I got one squash plant or something like that. Some sort of like rosemary in the corner. Some herb, a bench, and that's about it. Oh, and another planter box there, which I never planted anything in. I don't know. I guess they had a fun time, Here's someone a little bit more serious. Again, looks like they have grapes growing along the end right there. Here they got pumpkins for up and coming Halloween, about a month. Here's some herbs of some sort, mints. But not a whole lot of vegetables, really. They got a rose over there, nice fancy gate. But other than that, see, they got this one here in the center. I don't think anything was even planted in there. Compost pile. I mean, they got a little bit going. Here's all their peppers right here. Interesting way of gardening. Oh, well, I guess there's not too much work that way. Somebody planted a lot of grapes here for some reason. Look at all these grapes. They got a fair stock on it. Right there. A fair stock. This one is probably known as the jungle. All these grasses hadn't been picked for months. Oh, what do they grow here anyway? Looks like just a bunch of flowers, some berries of some sort, some squash over there. We got some beans here, but it doesn't even look like they've really picked them. I can see some really long beans there. They might have picked some of them. This is how you do it on a trellis, just like this. But even these ones, see all the leaves start browning out? That's from the rain, a little bit cooler weather at night. It's an interesting gardening, but it's like a jungle. A whole bunch of bugs around here too. Got some tomatoes on the end, some more tomatoes, some tomatoes they didn't harvest. This is probably pretty typical. Interesting. Smell mint. Here's that guy with these grapes right here. Again, interesting way of gardening. You got some herbs along here, some flowers, more flowers, some strawberries inside there, and then some squash, some beans, which are on those poles, some tomatoes, some more beans. That's about it. Interesting. Here's a one I think was Marvin's old plot, I believe. I'm not really sure. This has got massive amounts of plastic containers. Shoot, must be 10, 20 of them in here. They're growing everything in containers. It's interesting. And this here along here is all some roses. That's like a tree or bush. All along through here, all roses. And it looks to be like either pumpkin or squash of some kind in there, beans, tomatoes, all in containers. Huh. How interesting. Hopefully this longer video like this walking comes out okay. Again, Just small little clumps, a whole lot of pathways chipped. Got different types of roses, a little bit of tomato in there, something else along here. Interesting. Some guys up there is wondering who the hell I am. More roses, a few tomatoes, a few raspberries. That's about it. Tomato City here. Wow. Look at all these tomatoes. What do they do with them all? Looks like a lot of them are probably just going to rot right on the vine. Other side of that container place, more containers. Right here, all this crab wiregrass that I was dealing with like 20 and 30 years ago. Still here, still growing, still going like crazy, even though I told them to get rid of it. I think originally maybe, I'm kind of getting lost as to whose plot was who. I think I might have had this plot originally. Peppers, rotting on the vines. Got tomatoes, rotting on the vines. Doesn't even look like anybody had really watered them for a while. See how anemic looking they are? And of course, more grapes. Wow, look at that, they got like clumps of grapes. And again, tomatoes. Millions of tomatoes. And peppers. All along in here. Tomatoes and peppers. Like crazy. And most of them rotting on the vine. Look at all those tomatoes right there. Like stewing type tomatoes. The cylinder type ones. All rotting. And then this one here, they have a lot of roses. Look at this rose stock. That thing is good. That thing's been here for 20 plus years. At least. The lizard ran across my path there. It's hard to even remember what places were mine and not. But now I remember. This, believe it or not, was all this wiregrass I tried to keep out. Was one of my old plots. And they have totally changed and taken everything out. Because they had redwood in there that still would have been in there if it hadn't have been for them taking it out. Some of my original stakes here. And wire. Although they might have put new wire in, I'm not sure. Look at that, just all tomatoes all rotting. And it's heaps of this wire grass, crabgrass type stuff, which is hell to get rid of. You got to use Roundup on it. And this was my main plot for since 1980 to about 1994. Wow. And here is one of my secondary plots, along with a tree. I filmed this one before. Looks like some of these boards might have been ones that I had from Bob Schnell's deck. These are definitely, this is some of my wire and these are some of my posts right in there. But they rearranged it. They didn't even make it really conscious of space as far as, you know, space versus amount of pathway and all that. I think this was probably one of my original beds here. Because it ran right next to the fence line, all the way over. And then there was about a 1.5 foot pathway, 2 feet, and it went this way. And the final one went out right about in here, and then they're right out that way. And then the trees were over here. That used to be an apple over there, dwarf peach here, and there was like a semi-dwarf pear or something like that. And now my raspberries were in here. They've taken all that out. Why? Why? It's perfectly set up for somebody. I'm gonna cancel out now. Cheers.